What's up y'all, Talon here, and today I'm back with another high-level competitive rental team, this time one created by Atalanta, who is a Chinese VGC player who has been really successful on the ladder in the past, and has been doing really well with a lot of creative teams in Chinese and Japanese ladder tours, which have been really common after Japanese nationals finished because they had no reason to be playing Regulation C like the West did to close out North American Internationals, so they've been really practicing Regulation D quite a lot. Atalanta was able to take first place in a ladder tour held by Side Tokage, and it's a really interesting composition that I thought would be fun to share with you guys. This team has no shortage of interesting choices, but we'll start with the Regieleki, which is holding the Choice Scarf set. It has the Terra Steel just to be a little stronger defensively into extreme speed and fairy moves. It also has Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Electroweb, which are kind of going to be common on Regieleki. But instead of opting for something like an Explosion or a Hyper Beam in that last slot, they've gone for Zap Cannon. So whenever they need to go for a Hail Mary, big damage or paralysis, they have that 50% Zap Cannon that they can unload if they want to. The Regieleki doesn't actually have a lot of speed investment on this set. It's a modest 20 speed, which gets it up to 334 speed after the Choice Scarf boost. I think this is an interesting benchmark to hit. If it were me running the team and if you wanted to make any adjustments to the Poke Paste, I might run 8 more speed EVs just so that you're able to outspeed a timid Chi-Yu max speed in Tailwind. That's not an irrelevant calc, so I feel like that would just allocate a little bit of special attack or bulk into that slot. It has a lot of HP and defense EVs just so it can live any sucker punches, extreme speeds, all the physical priority that's running around in the meta, which I think is a smart choice. The Abomasnow is a Terra Water set with Rocky Helmet, which can potentially catch any Urshifus that are errantly going for water moves into your team off guard. It has Aurora Veil to set up your team a bit more defensively just because it's so offensive otherwise, and Ice Shard, Energy Ball, and Blizzard as its coverage moves. The Articuno is the most interesting Pokemon in the team. It has Snow Cloak and Bright Powder, so whenever snow is up, it's able to be hit only 70% of the time roughly by opposing attacks, which really just lets it stay on the field and go for powerful Blizzards, Freeze Dries, and Terra Blasts with its Terra Water, doing its best impression of Iron Bundle, and whenever it does get hit, it's able to hit the Roost button and heal it all back up and restart the cycle. Urshifu Single Strike is holding the Mystic Water item. This just boosts the power of its attacks to pretty absurd levels, especially when paired with the Sword of Ruin on Chien-Pao. This Urshifu is running a bit of bulk, which furthers its longevity, especially with the Aurora Veil pairing on the team with Abomasnow, and is overall just a really powerful physical attacker. Chien-Pao is running the standard Sword of Ruin Focus Sash set, so just boosting its physical attacking partners while staying on the field as much as possible with Focus Sash, and Protect and a Ghost Terra to avoid any fighting type or normal type extreme speed attacks. Dragonite here is the Choice Band Multiscale set with a lot of bulk. It has a bit of speed, but not as much as other ones that go for the jolly nature to outspeed some of the Follow Me users in the format. It has a pretty standard set, Extreme Speed, Outrage, and Aqua Jet, but for the filler move here we have Aerial Ace, just to be able to hit all the fighting types in the format, as well as any Amoonguss or Rillaboom that are hopping around. Some game plans you'll typically be going for this team is leading Abomasnow and trying to get up Aurora Veil, while also leading Articuno to just immediately get the Snow Cloak Bright Powder going on the field and go for Blizzards as often as you can. It's really valuable damage. Articuno has a really impressive special attack stat, but really you can gain a lot more value just by going for Blizzard and potentially getting freezes that freeze up your back Pokemon to do a ton of damage. Abomasnow is typically going to go down pretty fast after it gets up Aurora Veil, and then you want to be bringing in one of your faster, more offensive Pokemon in the back to clean up after Articuno has done sizable damage with Blizzards to chip opposing Pokemon down. Against some Tailwind teams, you can have the Choice Scarf Regieleki, which will outspeed a surprising amount of Pokemon even in Tailwind. It's also going to outspeed any like Basculegion, even after Swift Swim, so yeah, just you can take advantage of the absurd speed stat that you're getting with Choice Scarf and go for Electrowebs to allow the rest of your Pokemon to catch up to their the speed disadvantage, or just go for Volt Switch or Thunderbolts and catch them off guard and get really crazy KOs just right off the bat, even at the Tailwind disadvantage. Overall, really cool team building from Atalanta. I don't think I've ever seen Articuno in like the 12 years I've been playing VGC have any level of competitive success, so yeah, really cool to see it. Yeah, really hats off to them, and we'll move into the ranked battles now. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe, and yeah, let's get into it. Ooh, and they appear to be Blizzard food. And our Articuno is doing its best impression of Iron Bundle with the Terra Water Terra Blast, so we actually aren't too bad against Heatran either. And our special defense is pretty strong on Articuno, so again, Sylveon not that crazy, but just to name the opponent's team, we have Maushold, Landorus T, Tornadus, Cresselia, Heatran, and Sylveon, so kind of a tail room looking team. I think Urshifu could be pretty strong. I believe we aren't... Unfortunately, we're not Throat Chop or Crunch or anything like that, so Cresselia could pose a bit of a problem. I think their most likely lead here is going to be something like Heatran to counter the Hail. That's pretty obvious on my end. So I think what I'll do is... I really think the Cresselia is the main threat on my opponent's team. So what I might try to do is this. So I went with Urshifu and Chien-Pao, just leading really offensively right off the bat to threaten out their Heatran. It basically forces them to Terra, and if they do that, whether Trick Room is up or not, I'll be able to hit them with a Blizzard, with a Abomasnow, or Articuno, both of which should knock out. But yeah, I am opening myself up to potentially the Cresselia being a bit of an issue, but they can't really beat my Articuno, so as long as I just don't let the other Pokemon get out of hand, I like our odds as long as they don't have something like Toxic. But yeah, it's going to be Sylveon Maushold against Chien-Pao, Urshifu. So without knowing their item, this is kind of tough. I think what I'm going to do is double protect, just to scout out a Terra potentially. Yeah, no Terra from them though, so we'll get some good information out of this turn though. And we see Follow Me. Okay, they didn't go aggressive, which is interesting. I wonder if they're EV to live the Chien-Pao hit here. They go for Hyper Voice as well. Okay. So unfortunately they're threatening loss of damage on me. What I'm kind of tempted to do is Terra my Urshifu to live the Hyper Voice. I think that's a pretty big risk, but could be valuable for me here. I guess the question is, does Sacred Sword knock out Maushold? I'm pretty sure it wouldn't. I don't think I'm at a point in the game where I have to risk that just yet. So I think what I'll do is switch into Abomasnow, get my Hail up, and go for a Sacred Sword into the Maushold. Whoops, kind of hesitated. I think Ice Spinner might have been better if I don't knock them out here, just because they can go for the Terra Ghost. And maybe Terra, or maybe the Ice Spinner into Sylveon was a little better, I think, but regardless, this is what we went for. Okay, yeah, that's really lucky on our part that we were able to get the double protect, but yeah, we really just wanted Sacred Sword there. Now that we might be activating a Throat Spray on them, unfortunately, which I don't think my Abomasnow will be able to live. So let's see the damage here. No, that's Life Orb, okay. I guess the question now is how bulky, or how much speed does my Abomasnow have? 84 speed. I don't know Sylveon's... Let me check its base speed. I don't expect them to have... Well, given that they're on a Trick Room team, they probably live this. Regardless, I think I'll go for Aurora Veil and Sacred Sword into the Maushold. And hope I outspeed. But yeah, if I knock out with Sacred Sword here, then I definitely just should have gone for Sacred Sword and Mystic Water Surging Strikes, but just being wary of the Heatran in the back, I didn't want to lose too much. Yeah, I don't even get close. Rocky Helmet, okay. That's really cool. Yeah, they would have broken my Focus Sash and taken a knockout if I had gone for that last turn, which... Okay, they crit my Abomasnow. Fair enough for the double protect, but I don't think I'm too worried about that. Like, I like Articuno's chances here a fair bit. They're whittling away at themselves. Like, we do have Aurora Veil up. That's really valuable. Like, we didn't live the turn, but that's something worth noting. It would have been nice if we could have gotten a Blizzard off, but not the case. Let me check my speed stats. I believe my Urshifu is going to be moving first, unfortunately, but yeah, here we have the beautiful Ice Blue Articuno shiny. Nice touch of them to get that. 114, yeah, Blizzard, okay. So, I think Blizzard is going to easily be my best play here. And unfortunately, you know what, I'm just going to detect again. I don't feel like I have to... What are we going for here? I didn't want to Surging Strikes or Aqua Jet the... Ooh. Terra Fairy. That's going to do a lot of damage. Okay. I didn't want to potentially get a bunch of Rocky Helmet ticks on my Urshifu. Unfortunately, now they do probably have a free Super Fang. Oh, they just go for Follow Me again. If they'd been Super Fanging or Population Bombing with their Mouse Hold, we could have been in a lot of trouble. But yeah, we're going to get a Blizzard off. Minuscule damage into the Sylveon, but a chance to freeze. Which we don't get. Yeah. But they are going for Hyper Voice with After Life Orb and... ooh, you know what? We could be in some trouble here. No, we do live, fortunately. But because of Aurora Veil, and we do have a lot of bulk on our Urshifu, I think if we go for the Terra Water correctly, we should still be fine here. So what do I like? I think I like Roost, Surging Strikes here, because I think they're most likely to go for a Tailwind. So I have to Terra Water to live this turn, and I think a Roost will put me in good shape. So if they go for Tailwind, that's really valuable for us. I mean, it's not great for us, but it's better than like if they go for a Bleak Wind Storm and risk missing, but if they get the speed drop on the Urshifu, then we're in pretty bad shape. So hoping they don't take that route, but yeah, it's just going to be the safer Tailwind option. But because of the earlier Aurora Veil in this game, we should be living with both unless they crit. Even though this is incredibly powerful. Yeah, they get really close, but not quite. Maybe it was probably worth considering Aqua Jetting there. I should run that calc. Yeah, I think Aqua Jet was probably a lot safer. With Mystic Water, I forget how offensive this Urshifu could be. Like, I think that was a lot of wasted HP on my part where I could have just gotten a big knockout there. But yeah, here's Articuno. So versus Sylveon. It's Heatran, okay. They do have to risk a big hit here. I think I'm going to go for Blizzard and Detect. It's a little predictable, but given that they only have a 70% chance to hit an 100% accurate move into my Articuno, I'm happy going for it. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that. But yeah, they hit through Bright Powder and they take a knockout. Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate, because without Sun, they definitely would have knocked out, and we would have gotten a Blizzard off, knocked out their Torn, and then I think maybe been able to take it, assuming they miss like maybe one attack into our Articuno. But yeah, unfortunately, now there's not any chance we can win that. But I think that was really just misplayed on my part on the Air Slash. Interesting. Yeah, there's the Heat Wave. But yeah, let me run that calculation on the Aqua Jet into there. I felt like they're a little below. So against 252 HP Sylveon with our spread on the Urshifu, our Aqua Jet would only do about 42 to 50%. And I think they were pretty close to that. They probably still would have gotten an Aqua Jet tick off. But yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, I just kind of got caught that turn one, where the Sylveon The Sylveon with the mouse hold was really hard to handle just because I didn't have any strong physical moves that could handle that. Like, this Dragonite isn't EV'd to be especially speedy, so I most likely couldn't be able to hit an extreme speed around their Follow Me like some of the Jolly Dragonites are able to, but yeah. Moving into the next one, we have a Roaring Moon, Urshifu, Goldango, Fluttermane, Indeedee, and Ursaluna. So kind of a soft Trick Room mode with those last two Pokemon, and the rest it's reasonably aggressive, could be Tailwind on the Roaring Moon, but in a situation like that, I really like Regieleki, just because I can lower their speed for potentially my own Urshifu. Yeah, we're skipping ahead to the battle. My dog was just barking in the background, so I didn't want to include that in the audio. Spare your ears a little bit, but yeah, so I went with, I think the Goldango is kind of a challenge for this team. Just bulky steel types in general obviously are a little difficult for our Hail mode to handle, and Goldango is even more tricky just because if they're the Water Terra, then our Urshifu, which would do reasonably solid, does pretty badly, so yeah. Definitely bulky steel types have always been the bane of Hail, and no exception this generation. And we see a Fluttermane and Roaring Moon into my Urshifu combo. Ooh, that's kind of bad. It's pretty bad for me. So they are speed boost, so I was correct in calling that. Yeah, this probably would have been a good spot for my Choice Scarf Regieleki. I would have been able to Electro Web their Roaring Moon and do a lot of damage to it, but now I'm in kind of a weird spot where I feel pretty compelled to go for a Blizzard or Aurora Veil, just get my bulk up on the team, which is generally what this guy's going to be doing, but no offensive Terra from them, or any Terra of any kind. They go for an Acrobatics, which does a lot, but does a lot of damage to them as well. And they go for Dazzling Gleam. Not great, not great. Okay, again, dog barking. But yeah, we're back, and I bring in Chien-Pao here instead of the Articuno. It's not really putting on a lot of pressure, I don't think, against their Fluttermane. Like, as we saw versus Sylveon, the Blizzards are strong, but really not that strong against Pokemon with high special defense stats. Ice Shard would have been better for me there. I probably could have Ice Sharded the Fluttermane into an Ice Spinner range, but a bit of a misplay there. I got a bit greedy, but okay, moving on. Okay, they switch out their Roaring Moon. And what I've gone for here is Aqua Jet Ice Spinner into their... Whoops, okay, yeah. They got us again. I went for Aqua Jet trying to chip down their Fluttermane. This won't matter if they're not a defensive Fluttermane, like we'll knock them out, but... Yeah, oh, we would have gotten them though with the Aqua Jet, so good play on their part. I thought they were applying a lot of pressure with their Roaring Moon despite all that, but, you know, they switch it out regardless, and now we're in a bit of a pickle. We don't have any damage on Indeedee, so they can pick off our partner at any point. We probably should have, yeah, gone for Terra on our Urshifu there, but now I think we pretty much just have to go for Blizzard Protect, hope we knock out, and then we can do try and clean up with these two Pokemon, our double ice types. We'll have the benefit of the defense boost on our Articuno against their Roaring Moon. They've already burned their booster energy, so our Chien-Pao will outspeed that. But to limited effect, unless we get a freeze here, I think we're in pretty terrible shape. Yeah, no freeze. Gone for 2 Blizzards, no freeze. There's a 10%, I think there's what? You go for 2 Blizzards, you basically have an 80%, a little less than an 80% chance to not freeze either, so a 19% to freeze at least one. But here comes Goldengo, which is really bad. Yeah, this is kind of problematic. I've already burned my Protect, unfortunately. Yeah, I might just have to rely entirely on my Articuno to win this and just dodging attacks, which could be the case, but I don't think is too likely. If they're a nasty plot set, this is really, really dire. Well, if they're choice specs, it's probably better if they're than them being nasty plot. But yeah, I think I played this game pretty badly. Very greedy turn 1 on Abomasnow not to go for Ice Shard. If I had gone for it, I would have been able to knock out the Flutter Mane, hold on to my Urshifu, and just, yeah, would have been a whole lot better of a spot. But Indeedee is put down low, they're Rocky Helmet, so unfortunately now if they go for Make It Rain, they'll be getting a super... Okay, we go for Blizzard. Interestingly enough, you can't hit Goldengo with status moves, but that doesn't mean it's immune to status. Secondary effects like Blizzard Freeze will actually get it, so. And they go for their leftovers, so that is the... So unfortunately that is going to be the most likely the nasty plot set, which is really bad for us. I think we'll just go for Blizzards. We don't have that many turns of Hail, so we probably just have to keep rolling Blizzard and hope we get a freeze, but they do protect, so whittle 1 turn away of that possibility. Yeah, we go first with Blizzard, hoping for a freeze here. If we get a freeze here and then Goldengo stays asleep or stays frozen pretty much forever, we could win, but yeah, they go for a nasty plot. And I think we maybe have one more turn, no more turns of snow, so at this point they can pretty freely go for a Throat Chop into our Articuno. I'm pretty sure that'll just straight up knock us out. At this point we probably have to go for a Terra or a double Blizzard Freeze out of snow and also live this hit, which we do live the first. We hit both Blizzards, we bring Roaring Moon low, but no freeze. But the Bright Powder does activate, so that's fortunate. I think, yeah, at this point we're kind of still in that same spot where most likely they just have to hit the one, like one attack into us, so they could protect the Roaring Moon, which they do. I went for Roost just to cover, like, they have to miss a Shadow Ball anyway, so in that circumstance I just want to get... Oh, okay. That's interesting. Just getting more HP from their leftovers. So I get one more hit off that. If they hit a Crunch, like they have to hit a Crunch and probably a Shadow Ball. But now I think I'll just go straight for a Freeze Dry into the Roaring Moon. I mean, I'm just assuming that they have to miss the 10% Bright Powder anyway, so I only have a 10% chance to freeze, so... Ooh, they go for Tailwind. That's cool. That's a cool option. Now they have the advantage versus my... Okay, yeah. Articuno's making this one close. It's trying its best, for sure. I think they're what? They're +1 on their Goldengo. So I think now we probably... Most likely they just try to stall... Okay, they're +1. They have 3 turns of Tailwind. They probably think at this point that I don't have anything to hit them, so I'll just go for a Roost. They go for Shadow Ball and do connect. Let's see if that knocks out. Nope, just gonna barely live, but they drop our special defense, which means now our margin is even lower, but it was always low to begin with, so what? I think they know I'm just going to hit Roost again, so I'll go for Terra Blast, assuming that they miss. But yeah, this is in pretty bad shape for us. And they do hit the final Shadow Ball, and that's going to lock this one down. The Articuno not doing quite as much as we need. And that's kind of a flaw I've noticed in the team, is because it's not like the snow rock that extends the turn of Hail, the equivalent to Damp Rock basically. We only have the 5 turns of snow, so if we want to go for an early Abomasnow like Aurora Veil and then bring in Articuno later, we have pretty limited turns of hail to be going for Blizzard, as well as having our opponents miss Snow Cloak attacks, so yeah. Just, you know, some tough draws on teams these first 2 battles. You do have to expect on some level that the bulky steals are just going to be around this meta. There's such strong Pokemon in general, so... but we definitely had answers into it. I think I misplayed the Urshifu. Regieleki would have been good. Chien-Pao would have been good in the lead as well. So just overall misplayed that game a bit. And yeah, ended up getting swept by the bulky steel type in the back, as we kind of expected at the beginning of the battle. Ooh, Giggsy at 370. Pretty high on the ladder. Hopefully we can get some points back from them, but... They have a team of Fluttermane, Tatsugiri, Tornadus, Dondozo, Chi-Yu, and Iron Bundle. Okay, so I brought a weird pairing of Pokemon here. I have the Choice Scarf Regieleki paired next to our Urshifu, just because typically these teams will lead pretty offensively. But not with the Dondozo. Sometimes they do, but I want to have the Chi-Yu covered on lead, I want to have the Iron Bundle, I want to have the Fluttermane, and the really fast Electro Web potentially could let us do that. But yeah, it's Fluttermane and Iron Bundle. I'm going to do a calc real quick just to see whether I can knock out their Iron Bundle with Regieleki's Electro Web. I am a modest Regieleki. Yeah, if it's 4 HP or 4 special defense Iron Bundle, we have a 68% chance to 1-hit KO with Electro Web, which is good but not amazing. We have Chien-Pao in the back, so I don't really want to risk much if I can avoid it. Do I need my Terra in this battle? Most likely not. I think a stronger play for me is probably just Terra, just Volt Switch. Yeah. So the big fear for me here is them living the Electro Web or dodging it, and then getting a Freeze Dry off into my Ursaluna, or sorry, my Urshifu, which I'm not sure on that roll. I probably should have run that ahead of time. I think I probably live, but yeah. Risking nothing, we're just going to Volt Switch, knock out the Iron Bundle right away, and unless they go for a Thunderbolt into my Urshifu, Urshifu doesn't have, you know, it's not super bulky, but it's also not, it doesn't have no bulk, so I think Dazzling Gleam is reasonably likely here, and my Focus Sash is more valuable to me than Abomasnow's HP, so we'll bring that in. And they go for Dazzling Gleam, which I expect to live. Yeah, we do with our special defense investment. We probably would have lived with just normal Terra Water, but yeah, now our Surging Strikes, we only need 2 to knock out their Fluttermane, which is very nice. And yeah, that goes down, and we've taken a double KO on turn 1. Taking a lot of HP on our Pokemon, but we still have the Choice Scarf Regieleki in the back, so we'll pretty much always be moving first in the last turns of the battle with our pretty quick, yeah, there's the Urshifu, and sorry, there's the Tatsugiri, and there's the Dondozo. So as expected, they led pretty offensive in the lead, and now they have their Dondozo, and it's all there's left to do is just figure out the Terra type on that. I think I have this team, honestly, because I compiled 35 of the best rental teams for early series or Regulation D, so I do have them all in a spreadsheet. I might just check that out real quick, see what their Dondozo Terra type is. You can't always do this, but you know, when we can make this as open team sheet as possible, I will definitely attempt to do that for myself. Yeah, they're probably Order Up, Terra Grass, Wave Crash, Earthquake, which means we can go for a fairly safe turn here, going for Energy Ball and or Close Combat, and I think Energy Ball is fine. I think no matter what they go for, they'll be taking knockouts. Okay, they go for Order Up, so they'll be getting a speed boost. Yeah, I went for Energy Ball just to force them to have to go for a Terra. Like if they stay, okay, it's an attack boost, which is, you know, what we expect given they're the droopy form Tatsugiri. Okay, yeah, and we accelerate this one really fast with the Energy Ball crit on the third Dondozo, yeah. But at this point, now they have Tatsugiri, which is, if I am correct, the Focus Sash set. So I think now we just go for Volt Switch, Energy Ball, and just go for 100% accurate moves, and that should be it. I guess there's no reason to waste turns going for a Volt Switch when we can just go for Energy Ball, Thunderbolt. Yeah, and they cancel the battle out. No real potential for victory after the crit on the Dondozo. And yeah, the surprises on this team, specifically the Choice Specs or the Choice Scarf Regieleki, catching the Iron Bundles, which have the distinct honor of being one of the only Pokemon in the game that can outspeed Regieleki consistently with the booster energy. Unfortunately, relied on that certainty a bit too hard and get punished pretty hard for it. I could have just completely decimated them with an Electro Web like 70% of the time, but I decided Volt Switch, given that I can probably just knock them out if they don't go for the Terra and they don't expect it. I can take that knockout and then also live on the Urshifu unless they make a really aggressive attack into it, and that is exactly how it played out. So got one victory with this team. Hopefully we can end it with this last battle against Hash, who has Fluttermane, Amoonguss, Urshifu, Gastrodon, Landorus, and Iron Hands. So a lot of this team is weak to Hail. Amoonguss, Urshifu if it's the water form, if I Terra Water my Articuno, and Gastrodon and Landorus are all pretty weak. Fluttermane's pretty good into Hail, as is Iron Hands. So let's try and navigate around that. We haven't brought Dragonite yet. We are the multi-scale on this one. Yeah, so we aren't beating the Landorus that way, but given that I have 3 ice types, they could commit Terra on their Landorus. That's definitely an option, but yeah, I think their Fluttermane with their Gastrodon is kind of going to be their go-to here. Given that, how do I want to approach this? Freeze Dry, obviously really good. I have good ways to beat the Gastrodon, but not really so much the Fluttermane. I think I'm going to lead Hail here and just go for Blizzards, get some valuable chip off, and then have this to handle the Fluttermane, Urshifu in the back, and then I go for Dragonite here just because I think it's a stronger option into their Iron Hands potentially. I anticipate that being a pretty strong Pokemon for them, and as long as I don't Terra my Dragonite or I have some multi-scale bulk left over, I think I should win a 1v1 in that situation. And yeah, I just don't want to bite into a Surging Strikes, switch into Gastrodon type of play, because that is definitely something my opponent could go for. And we see Pomme de Fer. Looks like we got a French opponent and the Landorus. So they are threatening a pretty big Rock Slide here. But we're threatening a pretty big Blizzard, so. Oh yeah, and if they go for Rock Slide, they have about a 70% chance to hit if it was like 100% accurate, and they're 90% accurate on that. So yeah, pretty low odds. I will go for Blizzard. We have the defense boost here, which is really cool. And I think I'll probably go for Aurora Veil. Do I need to do that? I think it's pretty nice to just get that up. They'll be doing really little damage if I get this Aurora Veil up. And they're immediately going for a Terra type on their Landorus, if I had to guess, which is fair enough. Finally able to get rid of that nasty 4x rock weakness, but they go for the Terra Water, which is going to open them up next turn to either a Freeze Dry Yeah, Freeze Dry or something else. They Fake Out, which fortunately for them does connect. They get a crit too, and they go for Taunt. Okay. That's interesting. That's, yeah. So Blizzard would have been pretty good there, but they do reveal that they are not. Okay. So that's probably Assault Vest on the Iron Hand, so we won't be able to do too much damage to it. I think I like Blizzard here, or Freeze Dry, just to get as much chip off into that as I can. And yeah, I think I'll go for Blizzard as well. Just potentially getting a freeze off. If they want to attack, okay, they U-turn, which is doing half, which is a lot for sure. But yeah, that's an interesting Landorus set. That's really good for them. I thought Landorus would kind of just stay on the field here, maybe go for a Rock Slide, and I would be able to punish it pretty heavily. But now it's gone for an U-turn, and it'll preserve Intimidate for later on in the game. So they bring in Flutter Mane, which is going to take non-zero damage from a Freeze Dry Blizzard, but also not that much. So they are the special attack booster energy. We go for Freeze Dry, so getting 2 potentials to freeze their Flutter Mane here. We haven't gotten a freeze this live yet, but maybe... No, not one. None. Unfortunate. Okay. And they Blizzard. Takes us pretty low. I think they're kind of free to go for a Terra. Yeah, and this Bright Powder Articuno, just even in Hail, isn't doing us much good this set. But unfortunately, I think a Dazzling Gleam, if they go for Terra Fairy, is just going to knock us out. On the bright side, if they do that, they open themselves up to extreme speeds. Oh, they can't go for Terra Fairy, actually. But all right, another 70% roll on this Bright Powder Articuno doesn't go our way, and I'm just hoping we can get this one. That'd be really nice. We also haven't gotten any freezes yet, so yeah. The detriment, okay, switching out Iron Hands. One of the detriments of Hail is a lot of your team building is kind of just like, okay, this team has its holes, but as long as I get my Blizzards and all that good stuff off, then I'm fine. But, ooh, we live. Okay, so we have a ton of HP back on Articuno, and we're going to get a Blizzard off and probably knock out their... yeah, we knock out Flutter Mane and do half to Urshifu, which is the... Ooh, okay, Taunt goes down. So that's really important that I was able to take a knockout, because that's one less Pokemon that my opponent's going to be able to switch in and out of. This Urshifu is now in range of an Extreme Speed. So yeah, things are looking pretty solid despite how bad that early game went. And now... They do have to hit my Abomasnow with a Rocky Helmet to do any damage to it, which is nice. I think I might try and set up a... I think Blizzard is probably just a lot safer. So the interesting thing about Surging Strikes is it's 100% crit rate. I don't know if it's 100% accurate, so I'm trying to think if my best play here is to Terra this guy. I think it's probably not. I think I'm just gonna go for double Blizzard instead of Aurora Veil. If I can get a... Yeah, and they finally missed their Fake Out in my Articuno, so we're gonna make them pay for that. Oh, it's Wicked Blow. Yeah, I'm a silly goose. I totally blanked. Yeah, obviously Blizzard wouldn't do 50% to a resisted Urshifu. Yeah, but they do miss the Fake Out finally. They had the chance to miss it that first turn, which would have been really disastrous for them. Well, not disastrous, but we would have gotten another Blizzard off, and we go for one more Blizzard, and we once again do not freeze. So I think at this point, I just need to, given that they're down to their last 2 Pokemon, we just switch into our Chien-Pao and go for a Freeze Dry, I think, most likely. Like, I think we clean this up pretty safely with Extreme Speed, so I think we just go for Freeze Dry. The question is, okay, so they have U-turn, they probably have a ground move, they have Taunt, so do they have Protect or Rock Slide? My guess would be Rock Slide, but I could probably live that. The only danger here, I think, No, I think I'm safe. I'm just trying to minimize the chances of them A, hitting a Rock Slide, which is already not super likely, and B, hitting me with, yeah, flinching the Rock Slide, and then I'm kind of stranded on the field. Okay, they go for Rock Tomb into Chien-Pao. Yeah, it was a rock move, but 95% accurate. Into Snow Cloak, they would have had like, what, a 60% chance to hit that. We get the Freeze Dry off. That's definitely an extreme speed range, and let's see if we were able to go a whole live, running Hail, going for multiple Blizzards and Freeze Dries, and not getting a single crit, or a single freeze. They do get the Wild Charge, which does crit, which knocks me out through the Hail. Defense boost, yeah, Articuno is just so... Yeah, it was tanking hits. So when it's that physically bulky, if you can get Aurora Veil up and have Snow up, it's just crazy. Crazy Pokemon to knock out. Kind of like the Sand Veil Garchomps of old, but with the added... instead of the added influence of Rock Slide flinches being really annoying to deal with, now you have to deal with. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is go for the Extreme Speed into the Iron Hands and a Sucker Punch into the Landorus, because, yeah, I guess one way they could win is like, I haven't seen their last move, but maybe if they have like Fisher or something silly, they could knock out my Flying type Dragonite if they go for it into that slot, but no. It's just Rock Tomb, and we were able to preserve our Dragonite into the late game after they'd burned their Intimidate and close this one out. So yeah, just priority move to end this, and yeah, that was really tough one, but Articuno finally proving its worth there, just dodging attacks and dealing consistent damage with Freeze Dry and Blizzard, really good coverage there. Never had to reveal the Terra Water, just because we were in a good situation to keep just clicking Blizzard. We might have been in danger of the Wild Charge and the Rock Tomb, if not for the defense boost on from Snow. That's just really a really cool addition. I'm glad they changed it. Snow from basically just being worse Hail in the past generation. It's a little annoying that they took away the Focus Sash 6% chip every turn, like, especially since it's just so similar to Sand otherwise. Like, it feels like it's a weird nerf, but... So that's going to do it for today. We end at 1899, so I think a little higher than we started off, which is good considering we went 2-2 with some pretty difficult losses early on. We were able to win the last two, show kind of the value of that Articuno just sitting on the field. And I think we learned a little bit about the team as we went along, where you can play it aggressively or try and play it a bit complex by having Abomasnow and then bringing in Articuno later. But because you only have so many turns of Snow on the field, it's really good just to have Articuno in as soon as possible to maximize the chances that your opponents are going to miss you and that you can get as many freeze-inducing Blizzards as possible. Hope you guys enjoyed the live today. Enjoy the team. If you do, please subscribe, and peace.